What is good, everyone? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to my Village of Nintendo Switch and Gaming News Ninja. Today, we have some awesome information for you, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So, GameStop says that the Nintendo Switch is selling 10% faster in the US than the Wii during the same period on the market. So this is coming from GameStop, like I mentioned, and they said that sales of collectible and impressive sales of Nintendo Switch drove a particularly strong quarter. More than 5.4 million software units of Nintendo Switch software sold since the console went on sale in March. GameStop same-store sales rose by 2.3% thanks to Nintendo Switch. Switch software and accessories attach rate is an impressive 6-to-1. This is coming from Daniel Ahmed, who is an analyst with Nyko Partners. Nintendo Switch sales at GameStop were faster than Wii sales after the same period on the market. Nintendo Switch has a lead of about 10%. Strong demand out of the gate for Nintendo's new console, especially during a non-holiday quarter, but will fall behind Wii aligned. So interesting to see what's going on with the Nintendo Switch. Now GameStop, the reason why I reported on this one, GameStop always says a lot of things, but since there's been other people like Daniel that's kind of got in and said the same things, and we heard about Best Buy and Target also being lifted because of the Nintendo Switch and the sales of that, and the Scorpio is coming out this year, so it's going to be interesting to see if that actually lifts up sales when it comes to people going in there and buying it, or people are just going to continue buying the regular Xbox. But these sales, once again, I always say when people say like, oh, don't compare Wii to Nintendo Switch, Nintendo can't catch them, I always say, well, why not? If Nintendo has a consistent lineup of games, they have great marketing, and they continue to drive home the really good point of the console and the unique aspects of the console and what the console is, the Switch, such a good name, right? Why can't they continue selling well? Because like if they continue selling at this pace and they continue having the software at this pace, it's going to continue selling at the pace that it is. Software sells hardware, and that's something that's always been apparent. You know, software sells hardware, and you look at the Nintendo 3DS, which had some amazing software, right? But it didn't have necessarily full support. So Nintendo was split between Wii U and also 3DS, so it didn't get every single game that it could have got. Third-party developers in Japan supported it, not with everything, but they supported it with a lot. Western developers completely left it behind. If the 3DS was to get all of that support, so if Nintendo focused everything on the 3DS, I guarantee you the 3DS probably would have been higher than the nearly 70 million it's at right at this point. So if Nintendo is putting in a lot on the Switch, and it's going to get a little bit better Western support than the 3DS got, plus it's going to get full Japanese support in due time, why can't this system surpass that 70 million and get into striking distance of the Wii? So yeah, I have no problem when people do the comparisons, because if Nintendo continues on the track, then you can have great sales. So it's definitely a wait and see thing, but at the same time, like, I'm definitely optimistic that Nintendo can continue to do well because of the type of system that it is, and it's going to get a lot of software development atmospheres a lot easier, and I think Nintendo's really going to lay in when it comes to putting out software for this device, because it is a great device to make software for, and they're having a lot of success, obviously, with these numbers here. Best Buy, Target, GameStop, all these companies reporting better sales because of Nintendo Switch accessory sales and all of that. So once again, all good for Nintendo. Moving into the next article here, and that is Dr. Serkan Toto, and he has reported that Nintendo stock just ended trading plus 5.48% after the Monster Hunter announcement. That's plus 2.2 billion, no typo, in market value in one day. So Nintendo jumped up that much just because of the announcement of Monster Hunter on the Nintendo Switch, and there's been a lot of ranging reactions from this. Obviously, you guys saw my video where I talked about Monster Hunter on the Nintendo Switch. If you haven't seen that video, please check it out after this one, where I talked about Monster Hunter coming to Nintendo Switch, but I also talked about the false reporting that was going on from various different outlets, major outlets such as IGN and the such, saying that Capcom was basically looking at Street Fighter 2's sales in order to determine if there's support going forward. So of course, I, being the person that I am, made all sorts of jokes after this announcement on Twitter, saying like, hey, okay, well, they look at pre-order sales, Street Fighter is just coming out today. At the time that this was announced, Street Fighter's not out, so what's going on here? So obviously, Capcom is going to bring content to Nintendo Switch that makes the most sense. Monster Hunter makes the most sense, and yes, they're going to bring it to the Nintendo Switch. It was only a matter of time. But we did have a lot of people saying, oh, well, this president, he's basically saying that they're not going to bring it, or it's going to be a while before we get any announcements or anything, which was not the case. He never said that. It was a mistranslation. And if you've looked at all the evidence that we've had before, you've seen that Capcom said multiple times that they're going to be supporting the Nintendo Switch. Multiple times they said that. So this announcement is not a shock to me. I didn't know the Monster Hunter Championships were this weekend in Japan, or maybe I would have predicted something like that, but I did not know. But either way, this just kind of shows you the power of like the gods, like I talked about in Japan, like the major video game gods, the Pokemon, Monster Hunter, Yokai Watch. When these games are announced, they're going to bring financial fortune, they're going to bring a lot of boxing more to the Nintendo Switch, and it's only a matter of time. People act like this isn't going to happen. It's only a matter of time before that Pokemon announcement comes, and if you think this is impressive, when the Pokemon announcement comes, that is going to be, I think, maybe even double or triple what this has done as far as the stock bump and the money that it brings in. It could be 6-7 billion in market cap, because Pokemon, for as good as Monster Hunter is and everything, Pokemon has a much bigger worldwide audience. Pokemon even has a much bigger grasp in Japan itself. So I do feel that Pokemon announcement is even going to be bigger than this. But once again, it just kind of goes to show you that there's a lot of skeptics out there, and there's a lot of people that are pretty pessimistic when it comes to Nintendo, but you really just need to realize that Nintendo Switch is selling, and it's going to get games in due time. Just relax and let the announcements come in. And also, please check what we've already seen before. There's a lot of information out there as far as what developers have said. At least use that when you're trying to make a point. Happy for Nintendo that they've got this market cap up. That's good for them. I'm not big on reporting on stocks and stuff unless it's something that's related to games, to where you can say, okay, yeah, there's a relation, therefore it becomes more easier to talk about, and it becomes more interesting because it's game related, not just randomly, oh, stock goes up, you know, that's stupid. I don't report on that, but I will report on stuff like this because that's definitely good news for Nintendo. And when Yokai Watch gets announced and when Pokemon gets announced, it's even going to be bigger. Alright, and getting into the main article here, so Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3 to launch in the next 3 years or so. So this is according to Square Enix President and CEO Yosuke Masuda. So Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3 will launch within the next 3 years, according to Square Enix's president and CEO Yosuke Masuda. And an outline of Square Enix's financial briefings for the fiscal year ended March 31st, 2017, Masuda said about the following slide. This slide shows our release lineup for FY 2017/3 as well as FY 2018/3 and beyond. We plan to launch each of these upcoming titles in the next 3 years or so. As you guys can see here, you see Kingdom Hearts, you see Tomb Raider, you see a bunch of other stuff there. They have the Marvel IP license, they have some of the games they launched, Nier Automata, World of Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest XI, and yeah. So as you can see in the right hand side, yep, Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy VII within the next 3 years or so. They said establish a robust pipeline from which 1-2 blockbuster titles as well as multiple mid-sized titles are constantly launched every single year. So that would mean both Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3 will be released by 2020. Final Fantasy VII Remake was first announced at E3 2015, while Kingdom Hearts 3 was first announced at E3 2013. Both have a narrow release window, but still seem like quite some time off now. It's within the next 3 years, so that doesn't necessarily mean 100% 3 years from how I'm reading this. It says just launch within the next 3 years. So it's going to be something to where it could be 2020 that they're launched, or it could be 2019, could be 2018, could be the end of 2018. We don't really know 100%. But I will say this, like, these two games were announced way too early. And look, I knocked Nintendo for announcing Tokyo Mirage Sessions and announcing Xenoblade Chronicles X pretty much 3 years ahead of time, and I gave them a lot of crap for that. And yes, rightfully so, there was no need for them to announce those games like the panic, because that's what they did. They panicked when the Nintendo Wii U just wasn't selling after the holiday. They had a panic Nintendo Direct, and they announced those games, and those games weren't even close to being done or close to being finished, or even the concept finalized for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And I'm looking at these two games here, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm like, why were these games announced so early? 2013 What are you doing announcing Kingdom Hearts 3 in 2013 when it's literally like 7 years off? Look, I understand they did those Final Fantasy 15 to where it took forever for that game to come out, but that's because that game was going through transitions, then there was hardware and everything like that. They already knew what this system was going to be on. They already knew it was going to be a PS4, Xbox One, PC. Like, they already knew it was going to be on those systems, or at least just generally PS4. Okay, there wasn't any hardware transitions or anything like that. 2013, that's when PS4 launched. Obviously, 2015, PS4 was already out. Don't sit here and tell me, oh, you don't know what's going on and you're having hardware transitions like Final Fantasy 15 was from PS3 to PS4, when you're looking at this and you're like, yo, it's been so many years. Like, they're announcing games way too early. So my plea to Square Enix going forward in the future, and to everyone, I think Nintendo's finally got a hold of this and said, okay, yeah, we got to make sure that we don't announce stuff way too early ahead of time. Wait, you don't need to make these announcements just to try to hype up these freaking gamers in the crowd to where they start crying on stream at Final Fantasy being announced. And they start saying, oh, they won E3. They won E3 with what? A game that's coming out 5-6 years later? Come on now. Like, stop doing this, companies. Do not announce games 3, 4, 5 years in advance. Pull Fallout, okay, pull Nintendo with what they're doing at this point, alright, announce games within the relative time space of a year, maybe a year and a half max. There is no need to freaking announce games this far in advance. Like, for example, we just got the Far Cry announcement. It's coming out February next year. That's fine. You announce it about a year ahead of time, a little bit less. That's okay. And then E3, there's some gameplay leading up to it. Then it comes out in February. Don't announce it 6 years in advance. This is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, let's hope that it comes out before 2020. Obviously, they both can't come out in the same year, or maybe they can. I would think that Kingdom Hearts 3 would come out first, then Final Fantasy 7 Remake, but we have to wait and see on both of those. Alright, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description below over to our Twitter, Facebook page. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on all of our social media, as it helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet and, of course, via YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon page, link in the description below, where we'll be giving away a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Guardian Amiibo. Pledge any tier and you'll be entered in to win that. Plus, we have prized $10 eShop tournaments for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe every single month, Discord, voice chat, and so much more. So support PE Live and PE Arena on Patreon. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.